Hello everyone, welcome to this video series where we are going to talk about chess. We are going to talk about the history of chess, the rules of chess, how do we play it, what could be the results of the chess, a particular game. So if you are just beginning with chess, you do not know how to play, then this video is for you. If you are someone who knows how to play chess and you are still beginner, then this video series that I'm going to compile will still be very helpful for you. But for now, you can skip this video since won't be very useful to you. Since I will be only discussing about the rules of the chess, a little history of the chess. So without further ado, let's begin. So chess is basically a war-based game which is played on the. It has many characters like king, queen, bishop, rook, knight and pawn. So this is basically a war-based game. You can consider this particular game as a complete warfare. Okay, how exactly the war is strategized, how one side uses tactics in order to gain a upper hand in the battle. Everything is used in chess. The chess was basically originated back in ancient Indian. I do not remember the exact time, but it could be a little about 200 or 300 BCE. At that particular time, it was called Chaturanga. Okay, since it has four sides, this was called Chaturanga. The pieces had different name back at that time, and the rules were different. From India, it went to Persia, or maybe and Gulf side, in Arabian side, and from there it went to Europe, where it was shaped into modern chess. So right now, what we know about chess is everything which was changed over the time back in Europe. So we have a current form of chess, and I'm today going to tell you all about all the rules, which is standard rules as of now, which you will be playing in tournament if you want or in online. So let's go on the board and see how it is done. Okay, so as you can see, this is a chessboard. All the pieces in front is called pawns. All this are pawns. This piece is called rook. This piece is called a symbol with horse. It's called knight. Then we have bishops. Then we have queen, and we have So each side has 8 pawns, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, 1 king, and 1 queen. And the game is played with all these pieces. We exchange these pieces. We capture pieces of other side. But the real target of this particular game is to checkmate the opponent king. What is mean by checkmating? I will tell you later in this video. So let us consider that how exactly we move each of these pieces. What are their moves and what are their rules? So let's go with that. Okay, suppose this is the position, and here I'm going to tell you that how exactly we move pawns, how exactly we make pawn moves. So pawn, when it is on the starting position. So as you can see in this position, this is the starting position. All the white pawns are on second rank. So so rank starts from here. So as you can see, it's one written over here from 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So the starting position of white pawns is second. Likewise, the starting position of black pawns are 7. Okay, so this pawn is on second rank. This pawn is on second rank. Now the pawns on the second rank can be moved 1 step forward or 2 step forward. Okay, so while moving, they cannot capture a piece. So while moving straight forward, basically, so we can move this pawn either to this square or to this square. We can also capture another piece of our opponent with our pawn, and for capturing we move diagonally. I'm sorry, let me remove it. We move diagonally 1 step. Okay, so this pawn can actually capture this pawn. If there would have been another piece over here, we would have been able to capture that as well. Okay. One more thing, that if there is any other piece, either of opponent or your own, which is sitting right in front of this pawn will not be able to move. Let's say there is a piece over on this particular square, then this pawn could not proceed further. But if there is a piece over here, let me clear it. So let's say if there is a pawn on this particular square, then this pawn can actually go 1 step forward, not 2 step forward, because that square is already occupied. Always remember that while moving straight forward, pawn cannot capture any other piece, and also friendly fire is not allowed, so you cannot capture your own piece. So if you want, you cannot capture the pawn of your own side. Okay. Likewise, this black pawn can also capture this white pawn if it's black's turn to move. And also, since this black pawn is not on its 7th rank, which will be the starting position, then this can only move one step forward. Likewise for this pawn as well. If you want this pawn to move directly to this square, it won't be possible because this is not sitting on its on the original position. So this pawn can only move one step forward. So always remember that when the pawn is on the first starting position, then pawn can move straight forward either 1 square or 2 square. Once it is moved, then it can only move 1 square forward for for all the moves. Also, pawn cannot go backward. So if you want this pawn to come back to its original position, it won't be possible. Once the pawn is moved forward, it's moved forward. Okay. There is one more move that you must know. Once the pawn reaches on the edge of the board, so if you consider from the white side, all the pawn moves in upward direction, okay, towards the 8th rank, and once it reaches the 8th rank, we can promote it to any of the 4 pieces, either queen, rook, knight, or bishop. Okay, so if you want, we can promote it to queen. Likewise, black can also promote its own queen. I hope you understand it. It is clear. There is one more special move for pawn. I will be telling you about that later in this video. So for now, let's move to another piece, which is knight. Okay, so how does the knight moves in an L square way? So basically, if it is white turn, okay, so let's say if it right now it's checked, just move it. Black's turn. Okay, so if I hover over this knight, you can see 8 squares are highlighted, and all of them are legal position of the legal landing square for this particular knight. So knight can move to any of these 8 squares. Okay, so these squares are this, and this. Okay, and why I said L is because if you go directly from this square to this square, you can reach to this square following an L path. Okay, so this forms an L, or this forms an. Likewise for this as well, we can also go from here. Okay, I hope you understand that how does knight. You also need to understand that, let's say I want to move to this particular square, and one way is to go from here to here, but there is a pawn in between. But this pawn cannot stop this knight to go this square, because it can, first of all, it can also move from this direction, but knight has the ability to actually jump to another square, jumping over the other pieces. It could be their own pieces as well as the opponent pieces. So even if there was a pawn on this particular square, then also this knight would be able to reach to this. Okay, so we cannot obstacle the path of a knight, but yes, if the landing square is already occupied by its own pieces, the knight cannot land on that. But if the opponent piece is on the landing square, then knight can land to that square, capturing the opponent piece. So if, for example, if the knight would have been on this square, then this knight would be able to capture this. I hope you understand. In case of pawn, when the pawn is moving forward, it cannot capture. But for any other pieces, it will be able to capture that particular piece when it's on its landing square. Okay, obviously you cannot capture your own piece, in that case you cannot move to that particular square because it's already on. Hope you understand it. So let's move to next piece, which is bishop. So bishops are, okay, one more thing about knight, that I told you that a knight can jump over other pieces, but this ability is only available to knight. No other piece can jump over other pieces. Okay, so this ability is only available to knight. Likewise, pawns has the only ability to capture. They have a special move for capture. So the natural move is to move straight forward, but in order to capture, they will always be capturing moving towards diagonal, one step in the diagonal. So either to this or to this. So these two pieces have special powers. Knight has the power to jump over other pieces, and pawn has power to capture another piece in a diagonal and move straight. Now if we come back to bishop, so bishop moves diagonally. Okay, they can go forth and back. So this bishop can go to either this square, this square, this square, this square, this, but it cannot go backward in this direction. The reason is path is already blocked by its own king. If there would have been any other piece, then this bishop would be able to capture that. It cannot go beyond that, beyond in that particular direction, but it can capture that piece. But since the king is white again, so then, simply the path is blocked. Likewise for this, but this bishop, this diagonal is already available to move. Sorry, and over here. So this bishop can go in this direction, in this direction, in this direction. It cannot go in this direction. The reason is the path is blocked by its own king. I hope you understand the working of bishop. We have two bishops in each game. Okay, each side has two bishops. One is on light square, which will be this square, and one will be available on the dark square, which will be this square. Likewise for black, light square bishop, that means the bishop which is on the white square, will always land on the white square since it moves diagonally and all the color are same on the diagonal. Okay. Likewise, the dark color bishop will always land on the dark. Okay. So when I say dark color bishop, it does not mean black bishop. It means the bishop which is on the dark color of the board. Okay. I hope you understand. Okay. Now let's move to another piece, which is just as I told you about the bishop, that they move diagonally, rooks move horizontally, means in straight way. So this rook can go like this, this, and this, and the same way this rook can go here, 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 and here. Okay, it does not move diagonally; it moves straight forward, either back and forth or sidewise. I hope you understand it. Okay, the next piece that we have is queen. Queen you can consider as a combination of both bishop and rook. So queen will be able to move diagonally as well as horizontal. Hope you understand it. So these are 6 pieces of a chess game. So we start with pawn. Pawn has 3 types of moves basically. One is to move straight forward 1 step, and if it is on the starting position, it can also go 2 steps straight forward. Okay, it cannot come back. While capturing, it captures on the diagonal side. Knights move on the L path. So basically like this to this. So you can also remember it in this way, that it moves either 1 step forward and 2 steps sidewise, or 2 steps forward and 1 step sidewise. Okay, it creates an L shape. L shape. L means London. L for London. Okay, bishops moves diagonally, rooks moves horizontally in a straight path, either to front and back or sidewise. Queens are combination of bishop and rook. I hope it is clear. It may take time for you to understand these moves, but eventually you will be able to do it. It just needs some time. Okay, so these are the rules how exactly pieces move. Now let's move to the next section, which is the decision of the game, that how exactly the game ends. Okay, so the game ends either in win or draw. Okay, so win consists of 1 point, draw consists of 0 point, for half point for both. Okay, so how exactly we win? In order to win, we need to checkmate the king. So how do we checkmate the king? Let me show it to you. So for example, let's consider this is a position. White has a king and a queen, and black has a single. Okay, if white moves its queen to this square, white can move its queen to this square, since this square is on the diagonal range of the queen. So queen can actually go to this square, this square, this square, and there's many squares. If my queen comes to this square, then it will be a checkmate, because we are attacking the king and the king has no way to escape this attack. The king, oh I'm sorry, I did not tell you about the king. Where exactly how does the king moves? Okay, so let me tell you how the king moves. It will be better. Okay, so king move, create a fresh set. So king is also like a queen, but it only move one square at a time. So it can go diagonally and it can also go horizontally like a rook, but it can only move to 1 square at a time. Okay, so if you want this king to go directly to this square, it won't be possible because it only moves 1 square at a time. So this king as of now can go to this square, this square, this square, I'm sorry, this square, this square, this square, this and this, and likewise this king can go to these many. You also need to know that king cannot go to that square which is already attacked by enemy pieces. So if somehow, let's say king was here, let me make some moves so that king moves there. So if you want the black king to go to this, since this is also 1 square forward, it won't be possible because this square is already attacked by this pawn. You know that the pawn attacks diagonally and do not attack in the straightforward way, but it attacked diagonally, which is why this square is already attacked by this pawn, and this is why this king cannot come to this square. This move will be called illegal, and let's say in this position if I play this move, then now that this king is actually attacking these many squares. So wherever a piece can move to, apart from pawn, wherever a piece can move to is basically attacking that one. So now this king is actually attacking all this 8 squares. So this king cannot move to these 2 squares because this is already attacked by enemy king or any other pieces. Okay, so this as of now the squares available to this king is these. Okay, so king can go here, 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 here. That's it. These 2 squares are not available. Let me clear it up. So this king can go to these many. These squares are occupied by this king, which is why this king cannot move to that. I hope it is clear. Now let's come back to this position. So once I move my queen to this square, now we can see that this king does not has any square available to it where it is not attacked. So once we are attacking the king and this king has no way to go. So if you want to go to this square, this is already attacked by queen. If you want to go to this is again attacked by queen. If you want to go to this is already attacked by king and queen as well. And if you want to go to this is already attacked by queen. So in such cases, we call that the black king is checkmated. Likewise, if the color was reversed, then we would have said that the white king was checkmated. And in this case, white wins because the black king is checkmated. So we can win a game by checkmating the opponent king. And also we can win if the opponent decides that there is no way that they can avoid a checkmate, or they have a very losing position. The opponent or you also can offer a resignation, and that is the opponent, or if your opponent offers resignation, you win. Okay, there is another way to win, which is basically timeout. So each game, if it is played in a professional tournament or even in the online game, they all have a certain time limit, and if any of the side is run out of time, they lose. Okay, now this is how we win or lose. Okay, there is another decision of the game which is called draw. Now how do we draw? So let's say set a particular position. Okay, so let's say this is the position. Both side has one bishop. Now you should know that there are certain combination of the pieces which cannot checkmate the king. These are single bishop. The single bishop cannot checkmate a king alone, and even with the help of king. So in this case, the game is called drawn theoretically, and basically it is not possible at all in any case. Even if black wants to checkmate itself, it won't be possible. So in this case, the game is called draw by insufficient material, because we do not have sufficient material to checkmate the opponent king. So this will be called draw. In any case, just like resignation, if both sides agrees that they cannot claim a win, they cannot get a winning position, then they can mutually agree to a draw. That is also a case. So we can reach to a drawn game. Basically, a game can be drawn by two ways. First of all, by insufficient material, or by agreeing for the draw. And also in case of timeout, so let's say there is a situation where black has a king, white has a king and queen. Okay, black has a king and white has a king and queen, but in this case, let's say white runs out of time, then in that case, white will not lose the game. Instead, it will be draw. The reason for that is black cannot claim a win because it do not have sufficient material. Only a king, and only king, a lone king, cannot checkmate the opponent king. Which is why, again, in this position, if white runs out of the time, the game will be called drawn by insufficient material. I hope you understand it. So the game can end in win, lose, or draw. There is one more way a game can be drawn, and that is, let me set it up for you. Okay, so let's consider that the king is here. There is a white queen on this square, and there is here, and it is black to move. Okay, in this case as well, the game is actually draw. That since we are not attacking, white queen or king is not attacking the opponent king, but opponent king does not has any square to move. So if let's say king wants to go to this square, this is already attacked by queen. If this, then again this is occupied by the queen. This square is also occupied by king or queen, which is why king cannot come to this square as well. So the king does not has any legal move, and in this case the game will be called drawn by stalemate. Okay, the game will be checkmate only if we are checking the king, which mean that we are attacking the queen attacking the king, and king does not has any way to go, to escape that particular threat, to reach to a particular square which does not has any attack. Even if, let's say, in this case there are other pieces. So for example, let's say black has a pawn on this and white has a pawn on this, and again in the same way, white has a queen over here, king is here, and it is black to move, then also it will be a stalemate. The reason is that this pawn of black cannot move forward because this is already blocked by the white's pawn. Okay, so this pawn does not have any legal move, this king does not have any legal move, which is why black basically does not have any legal move, and the king is not attacked in this case as well. The game will end in draw by stalemate. I hope you understand. So the result of game is basically either win or lose or draw. A win can be claimed by checkmating the opponent king, or the opponent one side offers resignation. A win can be claimed in such a situation. A draw can be claimed in many situations. One is insufficient material, the other is stalemate, and the third one is by mutually agreeing for a particular draw. Alright, I hope you understand it, and hope this rule of chess is clear to you. It may take time, it may seem complex a bit in starting, but just stay with me and it will get very clear. I hope you like this lecture and this particular video, and please stay tuned for more. Please subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Please share it if you know someone who is eager to learn. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.